therapy, one of the first things in like the first few sessions was about resources, how to resource myself, and what that means is like the things that just make you feel good, but like aren't procrastinating. Like it's like a so you're doing this thing, it's getting tough. What do you need to do to reset? Do you need to go read a book? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to listen to your favorite song and dance? It's those types of things. Those are my resources.
Yeah.
And in tough times, like it's a lot of those moments where things get hard and you need to release or, you know, um, de-tense, I guess. And yeah, so even so, like tough times or whatever are sort of the same as just like hard work, you know? It's just sort of different emotions, but the same resources can help, I think. So I think I said one of them was cooking a meal because I'm trying to get into cooking more because I do like it. I just don't do it a lot, and it I'm pretty good at it, honestly. So
Hey, I'm a
skill
bit of a master chef myself, but
the shelf
yeah,
mice.
I know I have
Um,
a similar thing with like I'll identify these things that are food for the soul, if you will, and it but
exactly.
then oftentimes what I'm not good at is actually using them. For
Yeah, me
example,
too.
one of these things is
For
playing
sure.
guitar, and I find that I don't do it as much as I would like.
Yeah,
It ends up taking
yeah.
like a back seat to,
One
um,
of my reasons playing the piano. So.
yeah, exactly. I, I also like. I feel like when I'm stressed, I should go and do something like that. But instead, when I'm stressed, I just sit there and and just go. Ah,
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the Taking Off the Mask podcast. Today's episode is a face-to-face. So first of all, my name is Ashanti Branch. I'm really glad you've joined us. I'm super excited that you get another face-to-face after our 100 episodes, our first face-to-face in 100 episodes, or since we hit episode 100. One of the things I'm really excited about in this episode is that you're going to hear from Mohandas again, and you're going to hear from one of his friends, Julian. And in this conversation, they play the EFC, the adventure game. And if you know about the game is about building connection. And you're going to hear them have some deep conversation around learning about each other. And so I encourage you that maybe you answer those questions for yourself while you hear them playing. You know, we created the game for teams and people and friends and teachers to build connection with the people they work with their colleagues, with their friends, with their students. And we know that it's also important for people who you know to maybe get to know a little bit better. One of the things I'm excited in this next season, I would say season of our work, we're in the fall right now. School is coming back in session, and we have a big event coming up in November. Ever Forward Club, you know, the nonprofit organization, we are growing this Million Mask movement. And on 11/11/22, November 11th of 2022, we will be relaunching the Million Mask movement. Now, if you listen to this episode, you know that in these conversations, myself and the guest, or if it's a face to face, those participants make a mask and they share them. And one of the things that we've been doing is when the masks get made, they add up to this collection of masks that we're making with people around the world. We set a goal for ourselves to collect 1 million masks from around the world. I'm not sure if you've made a mask yet, but I invite you to do that. You can do that at millionmask.org. It's anonymous. But one of the things that's going to happen in November is we're relaunching. And one of the ways that we're going to be relaunching between now and November is we're inviting 100 schools. They're going to get a free training. They're going to get some resources to do the Million Mask movement with their students. We're looking for 100 schools that have a population of 1,000 or more. Now, any school is welcome to join, but our target are schools that are 1,000 or more. And here's what I have seen here in the Bay Area where I live, and here's what I hear from schools around the country: is our young people are in need. And oftentimes our schools are operating on reactionary mode, meaning something happens and then they go in and try and figure out what's going on, as opposed to starting as a proactive approach to seeing what kids are dealing with and caring. And we believe the Million Mask Movement is that tool. I mean, there's not the only tool, but it is a tool that in real time, like really right away, as much as your students have built safety and comfort in this anonymous tool, you can find out what your students are going through. And then it allows schools, teachers, coaches, families, companies a way to say, maybe we should have some conversations about these topics that our employees, our students, our community, our players, whoever is utilizing the tool to understand. And so that's what we're doing. The 100 teacher challenge, not teacher, the 100 school challenge is kicking off today. Like whenever you hear this episode, that it will be kicking off right now. And will be a video that we'll be putting out on social media. So if you know any teachers, educators, community, companies that have a population of 1,000 or more. Now, obviously, there's not so many companies with 1,000 or more employees, but any company and team can participate. But we're asking in our focus target market is those 100 schools, and anyone else who joins, we are glad to have you. We are inviting you also. But as we march towards this 11/11 date, we're looking for those schools in particular. So stay tuned, because after 11/11, that resource will no longer be free. It will only be free up until 11/11/22. And then after that, that is when we kick off our Train the Trainer program. And so there's more to come. I don't want to fill this intro with a whole lot of data and numbers and whatever. Here's what you got to remember. If you know any teachers, educators, coaches, companies, send them our way. If you know anybody in the Bay Area, tell them to save the date for 11/11/22. It's a pretty cool number, right? But when you write it out and see what it looks like. And I invite that as you enjoy today's episode, if you have not yet made a mask, that you will be one of the next in the series of masks that get made. If you haven't yet shared this with somebody, if you haven't made a comment or given this podcast a rating, I'm going to invite you to do that. And I just want to appreciate you for everything you've done. We are excited about the next season and the season of growth in this organization as well. And so thank you so much. We look forward to talking to you again soon. Thank you for being a part of this movement with us, and take care, folks.
All right. Well,
Finally.
let's get started. This is the Taking Off the Mask podcast. I'm Mohandas and your
I'm Julian.
host. Today we have Julian Allen here. Okay, so essentially what we're going to be doing is we have this adventure card game here, and basically we're going to be answering questions from it. The game is designed to help people to forge deeper connections.
Okay.
So let's well, you know what? Before we start, why don't we just ask you how's your week going?
Oh, great. I'm in LA with my girlfriend for her birthday, and I've been having a wonderful time. And I don't know what else to say.
LA is great. We went there this summer. It was plenty of fun. All right. Well, let's get this thing kicking. Some of the questions are harder than others. We'll start with this one. Okay. Name something you could do to improve your life, and what's stopping you. Would you start, or shall I?
You start.
All right. Something I could do to improve my life. Well, I mean, something I'm trying to do right now is read more, trying to absorb a little more knowledge, and while I'm doing better than I used to, I tend to be busy with other things, which makes it hard for me to focus on that.
Yeah, I've been getting back into reading for pleasure again. Like, I've just been so occupied with textbooks and stuff. And also, it's just been difficult just to read. I don't know. It's hard to describe. Like my brain has gotten less used to it or something, and I've started reading books again.
My brain forgot how to
Like
read.
yeah. Basically, like I found myself reading like a page like per half an hour. It's like crazy slow. And it's like
Yeah,
I'm like I used so much faster when I was like 9.
yeah, right. I definitely have struggled with reading speed. I at some point kind of had enough, so I looked up how to speed read, and I did actually like double my reading speed. It was kind of cool. There were certain things like I know one of the big lessons I learned that is that when we read, most of us can only read as fast as we can talk because we were trained to read out loud when we were starting. So our immediate inclination is to kind of mouth the words while we're reading, be like, you
Yeah.
know, which means we can only read about 230 words per minute. But if you just like press your tongue to the top of your mouth and make sure you're not mouthing it and it's all in your head, then you can already like at
You
least
absorb one word and just
yeah, you can read a lot faster with just that.
Mhm.
Alrighty, let's
Right.
crank out.
What's something? Wait, I didn't actually answer it myself.
Oh yeah.
So, something I could do to improve my life, and what is stopping me? Let's see. Um, I don't know. The things I'm doing to improve my life are sort of just a, it's like process, and it's taking place now, and nothing's really stopping me. It's just time, I guess.
Yeah.
It's not just do press a button and then
Yeah, just a matter of putting in the hours.
yeah.
All right, here.
Things are like time management and like different
Yeah.
priorities for different schoolwork, stuff like that.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
Pulling the next card. Here's a good one. What is a difficult story that you carry with you every day?
Um,
It's quite a
like an event in my life.
yeah. It could be. I mean, it's however you want to interpret it, but that I think that's the way they meant it. This is I can start.
I just feel like I'm sort of in the dark here. Let's see. Difficult story I carry every day of my life.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have one.
Yeah.
No, I don't have an answer for
I know for me something I carry around is now this isn't really something that happened to me, but this card reminded me of I've heard people say that like identity is the story you tell yourself about yourself, and kind of reminded me of that topic, which was reminding me that something that I've told myself a lot out of like I don't know how to describe it, but something I've told myself a lot is that I'm kind of stuck where I am because I'll like set these goals and stuff and then be working on it, but not making any progress, and that reminded me of that. Yeah, so bam.
Yeah, that makes sense as an answer to that, I think.
Mm-hmm. So here we go. We've got what can you start right now in your life to become a better person?
Oh.
Simple enough.
Well, something I sort of did start recently. I started going to therapy. It's like a month or two ago, or no, I think it's almost 3 months now. And that's something I've started to make myself a better person in the future. I'm learning a lot of things about myself,
Mm-hmm.
other people as well, a bit,
Yeah.
but most. And we talked about the future in my session, like not exactly like a 5 year plan, but like what's you in a week, what's changed, and then what about a month, or a year.
Mhm.
And yeah, so looking forward. And
Yeah, that's
I don't have
great.
an answer for like what I could start doing, but that's that's what comes to mind when I hear that.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. I think it's a really useful process to purposefully take time to learn more about yourself. I know
Yeah.
that's been a big thing for me in the past like year, I'd say, is a lot of kind of trying to figure out like what I'm about, you know, to the point that I go a little too far with it and cause myself anxiety because I start trying to figure out like um, everything I'm gonna do with my life, which is an
Yeah.
impossible task. And then I'll sit down like lying in bed trying to figure out everything, and
Mm,
obviously I
yeah.
don't succeed, and
Quite the way about it.
that's a rough one. That um, and I guess for me, something I could start doing to become a better person. I think so there's some things I've learned, um, some like skills and just mindsets and stuff that I've learned that have kind of benefited me. Um, that and like these mental traps we fall into, and sometimes I'll look at like classmates and stuff, and they'll be doing these things that I, um, taught myself to stop doing. Things like things like over complaining about really small things is something I kind of uh, tried to stop doing. And then
Mhm.
since I've improved on that, it sometimes starts to bother me seeing other people do these things, and then I start to get like a negative worldview, which
Mhm.
is a terrible thing. So I think having a more positive view of people um, restored faith in humanity. Something for me. Okay, let's uh, let's rip out another card. Okay, a characteristic of myself that I don't talk about very much.
Hmm. Wow. Characteristic of myself. Oh, hmm. I guess I don't really talk about my characteristics at all. They're just all very obvious. Is
Just
I think.
a transparent
Like,
person.
because I just don't need to talk about them except for like with my therapist or like if we're actually the topic of conversation is like me as a person, and then I don't hide anything about myself,
That's
not on
a
purpose. Everything that I know about myself, I will let other people know,
hmm that's a
and
great thing. Many fellows are much too scared to do such a thing. I find I'm pretty close to that point too. However, there are certain things I tend to um, that are like internal thoughts that like why would I share it? Like it has no relevance to
uh,
conversation. For example,
yeah, yeah.
like what I was just talking about with me trying to solve all problems in the course of 5 minutes. That's something that there's rarely a reason to mention, you know.
Mhm.
But
But it's a characteristic of yourself, or just
it's I mean it's
not kind
kind of a characteristic, like it's a something you think on a regular basis. I would say turns into a characteristic of yourself in some way.
of.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. You're bada bing, bada boom. Describe a time when you felt like you were in a battle with a friend. Ooh.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I've had friends feel like they were in a battle with me, but like I didn't.
Why don't you tell
So,
about one of those times?
well, I'm not sure how many details I should give.
gotta figure out how to
Yeah, how to,
a
things.
anonymous
Hmm.
thing. Yeah, I know there's been times when
Yeah, I
I never find myself getting in like battles with friends, but sometimes there'll be like I'm never trying to say hurt a friend, like it's never about that, but once in a while there'll be like something a friend's doing that just annoys me, like
hmm
sometimes a friend will do something childish or something like that on a consistent basis,
yeah,
um and it starts to get to you, and then I'll try and like give them advice on it, but it doesn't always get taken.
as advice, more as a criticism.
Yeah, more
Yeah,
as an attack.
yeah, I understand that. I don't know if I've ever done that, had that happen to me. The thing
Yeah.
I was thinking, man, it's hard to describe because like I didn't have a big problem. The person was going through some things, sort of like lashing out a bit, and and culminated him like sort of cutting me off as a friend and just like kicking me out of his group when I hadn't really done anything wrong. He perceived as just really annoying him, even though it was very not about him at all. And if he had not, you know, gotten angry, we would still be friends. And I'm hoping we can be friends again because it's been about half a year now, and he sort of cooled down and worked on himself a little bit.
Hmm.
But I still haven't spoken to him since then. But just I know through other people that we both know.
Faux show.
And, yeah. So I guess he was sort of. It wasn't really a battle. It was just sort of like a just. Uh, I'm trying to think of another aspect of war, a word I could use, but I can't think of one. I was thinking like siege. No, that's even longer lasting than a battle. Uh,
Raid.
a raid, a it was an airstrike. I don't know.
The
It was
serious airstrike of a conversation. So
yes.
you
He
were
was
saying,
also really mean to my other friend, and it was like, oh, he's being a total asshole right now. Like after the way he cut us off, that made me angry at him.
hmm
Like nothing before that,
yeah,
really.
like the way they reacted to something.
Yeah, I was like, hey, that's
So
not okay.
of a character flaw.
Yes, absolutely some flaws going on there.
Yeah. Right.
Coming to scenes, I suppose.
Yeah. What is something you need to stop doing? Stop. Stop it.
Procrastinating, I guess. Yeah. I just have like if the urge, like I'm doing some sort of homework thing, the urge to go do something else, watch a YouTube video, whatever. Just I'm getting better at stopping that urge, that sort of other procrastinating self versus like my wise self that wants to keep
Yeah.
working and at like an even pace and just get everything done. At the other self that just wants to take the sort of like instant gratification way out to
Yeah.
get the pleasure of doing whatever the other thing is, and I'm sort of winning that self away. um,
Yeah. Definitely. That's an
yeah, that's
interesting idea
and I.
of it's an interesting sort of thought of the there being sort of two of you in your head, like how some
Mhm.
people describe it as the monkey mind versus the conscious mind. Like I remember I watched a TED talk where this guy was talking about being a master procrastinator, and
I have seen that one, but I haven't watched it.
yeah, and anyway, he like drew up this thing where it was like him inside his head holding the steering wheel, and then there
That's
was
enough.
like a monkey tugging his hair, and it was kind of a good analogy because I definitely will. I definitely kind of think like that. I'll be sitting there, and you know, YouTube gets opened, and before I know it, it's been an hour, and I'm like, "Hey, stop! Back on track." It's definitely something to notice, and that is something for me too. For me, it's specifically like this. I'll get out of this habit and then fall back in it on accident, and it's really just like over phone use, things like YouTube or Instagram, and
Yeah.
and I'll if I'm
Well,
not
one thing,
careful, yeah, if you're not,
one thing I've done, at least on my phone, to help with that is I can pause apps, certain apps, and then if I click on them, it says, "Do you want to unpause this app?" And I just say, "No." I'm like, and then that sort of jolt, that like wall that's put up, and it's like makes me realize, stop and realize, like, oh, I was about to start scrolling for 30 minutes or whatever, and I was like,
uh,
oh. And instead, I spent about 20 seconds doing that and stopping versus actually not getting stopped. Like it provides a little sort of like mental, like, flick in this the procrastinating process. Sort of like just knocks it off course, and it's been pretty helpful.
most definitely.
'Cause I probably have like a reflex of, it's not a reflex, but like a like a non-thinking action of like where the app is on my phone. I'm like, doot doot, and it just stops me from doing that. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the disrupting of patterns.
yes,
Uh,
exactly.
all right, here we go. This is a five, which is the hardest ones. So let's see.
So
What is something that you've kept a secret from your parents? Oh, yikes.
um,
Hmm. Interesting.
there's nothing. I don't have secrets. I don't. Something one of my friends said about me one time was that Julian doesn't have secrets. He just has things he ain't said yet. Things I've either forgotten or they're just not important.
Yep.
Um, that
Vouch for that. You are a pretty straightforward person.
and very straightforward. Yeah, all those words.
You tend to say what's on your mind. Yeah. For
Yeah.
me, I know something in the past. It was shared. I shared it at some point, like way after the fact. But
Mhm.
there was someone I was dating in ninth grade, and I just like didn't want to. It wasn't even really the parents that I was or well, I just didn't like let my family know because I just didn't want to be asked questions.
Mhm.
Oh, I I knew especially my siblings would start asking some unwanted questions. But yeah. Bam. Let's see here.
Not that hard when you don't actually have
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, not too bad if you're honest. Um,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see here. How do you get through tough times in your life, Julian?
How do I get through tough times? Well, the thing I thought talk about in therapy, one of the first things in like the first few sessions was about resources, how to resource myself, and what that means is like the things that just make you feel good but like aren't procrastinating. Like it's like a so you're doing this thing, it's getting tough. What do you need to do to reset? Do you need to go read a book? Do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to listen to your favorite song and dance? It's those types of things. Those are my resources.
Yeah.
And in tough times, like it's a lot of those moments where things get hard and you need to release or, you know, um, de-tense, I guess. And yeah, so even so, like tough times or whatever are sort of the same as just like hard work, you know? it's just sort of different emotions, but the same resources can help, I think. So I think I said one of them was cooking a meal because I'm trying to get into cooking more because I do like it. I just don't do it a lot, and it I'm pretty good at it, honestly. So
Hey, I'm a
skill
bit of a master chef myself, but
the shelf
yeah.
wise.
I know I have
Um,
a similar thing with like I'll identify these things that are food for the soul, if you will, and it but then oftentimes what I'm not good at is actually using them. For
yeah, me
example, one of these things is playing
too.
guitar, and I find that I don't do it as much as I would like.
Yeah,
It ends up taking
yeah.
like a back seat to
One of my reasons playing the piano. So.
yeah, exactly. I I also like I feel like when I'm stressed I should go and do something like that. But instead when I'm stressed, I just sit there and and just go ah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, so that's something I'm improving on. Let's see here. Okay. Tell us about a time when you realized you were becoming an adult. That's an interesting one.
Was there? I think there was a moment. I think.
There's got to be something there. What about when you grew that bushy mustache?
Well, it just came in so slowly that like it didn't really ever surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. My facial hair doesn't really make me feel like an adult. It makes me feel hairy. um, I don't know. Even though, mm,
I could
what?
start there. I know for
I guess
me,
I just
or what's
when I
that?
started traveling on my own, like on public transportation, I guess I'm like, oh,
Yeah, getting around. Yeah, that's definitely a big one. Is being able
when I
to
oh,
move yourself.
I'm an art mentor with this program. So like I've been like a student this whole time, and now I'm in a more of a teaching position, and that makes me feel like I'm growing up. I'm becoming an adult. And
Yeah.
also, another thing, a very obvious thing, it's my girlfriend's 18th birthday, and that I'm my partner is an adult by law. That makes me feel like, oh, I'm gonna be soon as well.
Yeah. That's wild. I think it's crazy that um, in about 6 months I'll be turning 18. Like that's a big age. It's like the one of the first actual milestones of age.
Hmm. Well, there's 10, double digits.
Yeah, like 10, 13, 16, 18, 21,
Hmm.
something like that. But yeah, wait, what was that question?
How many more are we gonna answer?
We'll go like uh
One,
two,
one or two.
three more, something like that. All right.
This has been nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's
Yeah,
a nice little break from the day, just a little
yeah.
conversation. So, share a project that you've recently started.
Oh, okay.
I know you've
Um,
got this type of thing, artsy man.
yes. Um, wow. Well, we just in that program, it's called Artivate.
Mhm.
So the account is at Project Artivism. Just to look it up. I'm not sure who's going to hear this. Is this going on the podcast?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
we hope so.
Yes. Let's see. Um, and so we interviewed two artists. One man named oh my gosh, I almost said his name wrong. Let's see. Uh, it's it's confusing because there are two people in one day and their names rhyme. Norman Fong and Arthur Don. Oh, okay, I gotta look. um, Yes, Arthur Dong and Norman Fong. Arthur Dong. Oh my God, who's who? Hold on.
Those names go together too well.
I know. So we're doing sort of a thing based in Chinatown currently. The program, what's the word? Oh yeah, the title of the semester is called Dancing on the Roof, which was a catalog of different Chinese bands in Chinatown from like the, I want to say 30s to the 70s or 80s, something like that. And we're sort of interviewing people of that time and of that area and that culture and making art about them. So we interviewed Arthur Dong, who is a filmmaker, poet, photographer, sculptor guy, very, very cool man. And then we also interviewed Reverend Norman Fong, who is in the band Just Jammin', and he's an activist. Well, Arthur Dong is also an activist in general, and with his films. Some are actually in the Criterion collection, if anyone knows what that is. It's very prestigious, I would say. Collection of films. Or catalog of this collection is in the name. So I said Norman Fong. He's an activist and musician and also a very cool, charismatic guy. We got to talk to him just last Sunday. And yeah, and that's the project we're working on. So we interviewed them. I'm meant to be like thinking of like brainstorming what sort of like designs to make. We're gonna make screen prints and perhaps T-shirts with those screen prints. And yeah, that one just has just begun. And another one started a few weeks ago is with the Exploratorium. We're designing T-shirts for their volunteers to wear for a certain event coming up in April, or maybe it's in May, and we actually make the T-shirts in April. And also working on that, which is pretty fun. I love the Exploratorium. We've been there together, haven't we?
Yeah, that's like my favorite museum. It's so hands-on.
Yes, I haven't been there since like a while before the pandemic. And I go there, but I didn't get to go inside because the vaccine mandate. But I did get led around with someone holding the phone around, holding the in a group meeting. And it was, I've never had a tour guide take me around the Exploratorium, and it was really cool. I learned things I didn't know at all from just going in there freely.
I haven't had that either.
Yeah, there was a lot of cool information, and it seems like it hasn't actually changed that much.
Yeah,
which means
to be similar. I said it tends to be similar exhibits, which I don't have too much of a problem with because I like the exhibits. But yeah, that's a good one. I like the name of that project, Dancing on the Roof.
Yes, Dancing on the Roof.
That's
Dancing on the Roof. Yeah, we're based at the Chinese Historical Society of America. Currently, we're not always there, but actually one of the people involved with the program is now I want to say executive director, creative director, curator. I'm not sure what his title is, but he's a head honcho around there, and he wasn't always. It happened pretty recently. It's cool knowing someone official like that. Anyway, yeah, that's the project. Took a little while to answer that one, so you can go now.
Let's go with one more or one.
Oh wait, what's your project then?
What?
What's your project? Working on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I didn't answer. You're right. My project. I mean, it could be this podcast. I'm helping out Ashanti branch with this. It's it's probably the primary project I'm working on outside of school. I know in school we're creating aquaponics, these things with like water and fish are in the water, and then there's plants on top. So like the nitrogen from the fish waste kind of goes and fuels the plants.
That's cool. I like stuff like
Little
go in the exploratorium, perhaps.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's go with this. All right, hold on. Where'd it go? I seem to have. Oh, there it is. Okay. What are you most afraid of, Julian? Tell me your deepest fear.
Wow. I don't like getting lost. I'm just like in a city, getting lost is scary. People forgetting me or like looking over me. Oh, hello. Let's see. Being, I don't know. I don't really have any like philosophical fears. It's like I don't really have like
just don't want to get lost.
I just get scared. Yeah, I don't have any phobias or anything like that. That
nice. Those are all certainly understandable.
There's a kind of a funny one. I used to have a visceral reaction to like the presence of fleas.
Ooh.
Just like
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I used to be afraid of photographs of them as well. I mean, actually, I still am, just not as like I probably won't run away. No, wait, yes, I will. Never mind. No, I still have it. I talk about it in the past tense. I totally still have it.
Can't deal with fleas. Those are one
Yeah.
like the. I know I was in a hotel room one time that had a flea infestation, and that was rough. I was there. I was like getting dressed or something, and then they started jumping on my leg out of the rug, and that was terrible. That was not cool. I like ran into the shower.
I'm getting itchy thinking about it already. Literally, I'm scratching my ankle.
You said, yeah. That was terrible. For me, probably the biggest fear is well, I've got two. One is the fear of like big regrets. Like I don't want to not really regrets of things I did, but regrets of things I didn't do. I don't want to be 80 and looking back and having done absolutely nothing with my life. That would be like the ultimate pain, especially if it's like at a really old age where it's like too late to do very much. So yeah, I'm afraid of regrets like that. And then a fear that I'm like overcoming like at this moment is fear of sort of uncertainty. I find I'm sort of like a control freak, not really trying to control other people necessarily, but a control freak of my life.
Yes.
You could say it's a God complex.
So,
but yeah, I dislike uncertainty, but I'm keeping peace with it. So yep, that's pretty much it. That
all right.
Just about wraps it up. Thank you for joining. Much appreciated. Are you still in LA or are you back?
No, I am in LA. I said heading home in my text, but that meant the Airbnb where we're staying.
Yeah.
We're going to be leaving Monday. So we're actually in Topanga right now, not LA, but
yeah,
So
have fun. Sounds like a good time.
Oh, and I am, and I have. So
absolutely. All right. Well, Well, farewell. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Mohandas, for having me. Bye-bye.
The Taking Off the Mask podcast is produced by Ryan Louie. Graphics are by Kelly Wong, and a special thanks to the team at Ever Forward, Vanessa Cortez and Choque Allen Alvarez. We'd like to thank everyone who's been a part of the creation of this podcast as we cross the 100th episode milestone and begin the work to the next 100. We hope that everyone who's been a part knows that they're a part of the Taking Off the Mask family. And we look forward to you being a part of it as well. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe, write a 5-star review, and share, as we look forward to continuing to have conversations that matter. Stay tuned for the relaunch of the Million Mask Movement on 11/11/22. That's November 11th of 2022. There's a math problem in there. You can find out more by visiting everforwardclub.org and following us on social media. Take care, and we'll see you soon.